Beauty and the Beast. Chapter 1. The Merchant's Daughters. Once upon a time, in a quaint village, nestled between rolling hills and towering forests, there lived a wealthy merchant. His life was comfortable, filled with trade, fine clothes, and luxury. But despite his fortune, he had never known true happiness. He had 3 daughters, but his love for his children was not enough to fill the emptiness within him. The eldest 2 daughters were beautiful, but vain, consumed with their outward appearances and eager to marry into wealth. They spent their days admiring themselves in mirrors and gossiping about the latest fashions. The youngest daughter, Beauty, was unlike her sisters. She was kind, humble, and never concerned with how she looked. Her heart was her most valuable possession, and it shone brighter than any wealth or beauty. One day, a great misfortune befell the merchant. His ships were lost in a storm, and his fortune vanished overnight. His once grand estate was reduced to a mere cottage, and the merchant and his daughters had to live humbly. Yet Beauty remained serene. She did not complain, unlike her sisters, who grew bitter at their new, simpler life. Chapter 2. The Loss of Fortune. As the seasons changed, the merchant's life took a darker turn. He had only a small piece of land left, and the merchant decided to journey to the city in search of work or any way to restore his former wealth. Before leaving, he asked his daughters what they would like him to bring back for them. The 2 eldest daughters demanded fine dresses, jewels, and exotic gifts, but Beauty, ever kind-hearted, asked only for a single rose, knowing how much her father loved flowers, with a promise to return soon. The merchant set off on his journey. As days turned into weeks, the merchant found no success. In despair, he turned back toward home, defeated. On his way, he found himself lost in a darkened, mysterious forest. It was here, deep within the trees, that he discovered a magnificent castle, the likes of which he had never seen before. The gate was open, inviting him inside, and the merchant, exhausted and starving, entered without hesitation. Chapter 3. The Castle of the Beast. The castle was grand, yet strangely empty. The merchant wandered through its rooms, marveling at the opulence, but there was no one to be found. Eventually, he stumbled upon a rose garden. Reminded of Beauty's request, he picked a single rose from the bush to bring back as a gift for his daughter. As soon as he plucked the flower, a thunderous voice bellowed from the shadows, "Who dares steal from my garden?" The merchant turned, heart racing, to find a fearsome figure before him. It was a beast towering, covered in fur, with glowing eyes and sharp claws. The beast was terrifying, his voice full of wrath. You have stolen my rose. For this crime, you must pay. The merchant, trembling, begged for mercy, explaining that he had only picked the rose for his daughter. But the beast was unyielding. You must return to me, the beast declared, or I will take your life. In desperation, the merchant offered himself in place of his daughter. He promised that his daughter would come to the castle to replace him. The beast considered the offer and, with a menacing growl, agreed. He warned the merchant that if his daughter did not come willingly, he would suffer dreadful fate. Chapter 4: Beauty's decision. Upon the merchant's return, he told his daughters of the beast's demand. The two eldest were horrified, but Beauty, ever brave and selfless, insisted that she would go in her father's place. It is my fault that you picked the rose, she said, and I will make things right. Reluctantly, her father agreed, though his heart was heavy with sorrow. Beauty, however, was resolute. She kissed her father goodbye and set off on her journey to the beast's castle. When she arrived, she was greeted by the beast, who led her into the magnificent halls. Though she was frightened, Beauty tried to remain calm, hoping that she could somehow ease the tension between them. Chapter 5: The Beast's Gifts. In the days that followed, Beauty grew accustomed to her new life in the castle. Though she was still fearful of the beast, she soon realized that he did not harm her. Instead, he offered her everything she could ever desire: fine clothes, sumptuous meals, and her own private chambers. Yet, despite these luxuries, Beauty was still lonely. The beast, for his part, was kind, though strange. He never revealed his face, keeping to the shadows whenever he spoke. He treated Beauty with respect, though he often asked her to join him for dinner each evening. He never demanded anything more from her, but she could not shake the sense that he was hiding something tragic. One evening, the beast invited Beauty to a grand banquet. He asked, "Will you be my guest this night?" Beauty hesitated but agreed. As they sat across from each other, the beast gazed at her with longing, but Beauty could not bring herself to ask him what troubled him so deeply. That night, after their dinner, the beast asked, "Will you marry me, Beauty?" Beauty recoiled in shock, not knowing how to respond. The beast looked hurt, but said, "No more. Please, do not worry about me," he said softly. "It is not an expectation, but a simple request. I only ask for your company, your kindness." Chapter 6, The Mirror and the Return Home. Over time, Beauty began to feel a strange fondness for the Beast. He was kind, gentle, and thoughtful, but his appearance was too terrifying for her to fully embrace. One day, the Beast gave her a magical mirror. This mirror will allow you to see your family whenever you wish, explained. Beauty, feeling homesick, used the mirror to view her family. She saw them in distress, for her father had fallen ill, and her sisters were no help at all. Beauty begged the Beast to let her return home for a short time to care for her father. The Beast agreed, though his face darkened with sorrow. I will allow you to go, he said, but you must promise to return within 2 months. If you do not, I will never see you again. With a heavy heart, Beauty returned home. She nursed her father back to health and spent time with her family, but each day she thought of the Beast and the promise she had made, despite her father's wishes to keep her there. Beauty knew she had to return to the Beast. Chapter 7, The Beast's Illness. When Beauty returned to the castle, she found the Beast lying in his garden, gravely ill. He had not eaten, and his fur appeared matted and dull. What has happened to you? Beauty cried, rushing to his side. I have been dying without you, the Beast confessed weakly. You promised to return, and when you did not, I lost all hope. Heartbroken, Beauty knelt beside him, her tears falling. I am here now, Beast, she whispered. I never wanted to leave you. With her comforting words, the Beast seemed to recover, but he still lay motionless. His eyes fluttered open, and he gazed at her with a mixture of pain and longing. Beauty, he said softly, I am a beast, and you are too beautiful to love a creature like me. Beauty, filled with compassion, stroked his fur gently. You are kind and noble, and that is what matters. I have come to care for you more than I ever thought possible. Chapter 8, The Transformation. As she spoke those words, a miracle occurred. The Beast's form began to change before her eyes. His fur vanished, his face grew more handsome, and the terrible claws became elegant hands. He was transformed into a prince, a figure of great beauty and grace. The prince smiled at Beauty, his eyes filled with gratitude. It was your love that broke the curse, he said. I was once a proud and selfish man, cursed by a fairy. Only someone with a heart as pure as yours could free me. Beauty gasped, realizing that the Beast had been a prince all along. You were cursed, she asked softly. Yes, the prince replied. And it was you, Beauty, who broke the curse with your kindness and love. Chapter 9, the wedding. The prince and beauty soon fell deeply in love. They married in a grand ceremony, and the kingdom rejoiced. The prince ruled with wisdom and kindness, and beauty became his beloved queen. Together, they lived in peace and happiness, knowing that true love can overcome any obstacle. And so, Beauty and the Beast's story ended as it had begun, with love conquering all.